Good morning everybody and welcome back to another video where today we are taking a look at 6 very special builds. As today we're taking a look at the LEGO versions of the Tears of the Kingdom bosses. Now these of course are based off the designs that we did way back in 2023 and 2024 for the Tears of the Kingdom custom set showcase. If you don't know what that was my project of translating Tears of the Kingdom into LEGO style playsets, and those are all available to view in a playlist handily linked to on the channel. But over that time I became increasingly interested in building these bosses in real life. And we started with Colgera back in the day, and now, well, I have all of them, with obviously some exceptions. This is the main temple bosses, I should say spoilers, and noticeably Phantom Ganon is replaced by the Demon King Ganon. So there are obviously some discrepancies if you want to do it. However, I think it's just cool to see them all together. This is basically the lineup that you get in the sort of final boss gauntlet if you don't complete the temples, so I really like. Of course, with the addition of Demon Dragon, who is the reason we're making this video, because I finally have him, and he's really cool. So I wanted to take a quick little video to show these guys off again and remind you of course that instructions for these guys are in process. So Colgera and Marbled Gohma are already up over on Payhip, the link is in the description below, and then these will be joined of course by Queen Gibdo, Seized Construct and Demon Dragon in the following months. Again, instructions take time, so please do bear with me. I'm working on all the time, things are just really busy at the moment, so we will get there, but in the meantime, let's jump straight in and take a look at our first of these bosses. And I wanted to start off with one of the new ones for you guys, and that is of course Queen Gibdo. She's a giant bug, effectively. She's got her lovely little head here, which is done with 2 stickers, and then these 2 wonderful vinyl pieces as well. And the big thing about Queen Gibdo is, of course, she can charge at you. So one of the features that I wanted to make sure that we captured here was the segmented body. So you've got 2 main positions. Of course, you can have her upright like this, where her legs are on the ground, but then her main abdomen is angled upwards, like she's got her hands together and she's sort of scuttling around backwards and forwards, like we see her do in the game. But then also you can click hinge her downwards to get her into her charge position. And to accompany this, we have the normal head here, which is on a angled stone piece. However, you can remove this from this and then attach a turntable, and in that process you then make her able to sort of look straight forward, which is great for this charging mode here. There are plenty of details on her, and I actually really like how compact this build is as well. It felt really good to put together, sort of really multi-directional, very solid. She actually breaks probably the least out of any of them, with the exception of course of her wings and face. That is, there's always got to be something with these models. We'll come back to the wings, but I really like the heart pattern we've been able to do here in dark bluish grey, and then of course the red sort of frills and puffing around the neck, which is also really awesome, was a detail I was really keen to be able to collect and add to the model. Down on the lower abdomen we've got more of this dark bluish grey sort of channel detailing to represent sort of the ridges in between the main dark tan colour scheme, and then of course we have the legs with the lovely red claws. I will get the big ones in dark red eventually, it's just availability and so on and so forth. Certain pieces don't exist, you know, and honestly my priority was getting the model completed rather than making 7 brickling orders from 7 different stores just to get a load of claws. So these will change in good time. And then of course right on the tail we have sort of the cones coming down to a point to recreate what we see in game. On the back we do have all 4 sets of wings. We have the 2 smaller ones hiding underneath, and then you've got the big ones here, which did turn out to be a little bit too heavy. Now, I've had no problems with them staying in any position. As you guys know with videos like this, as soon as I get the models on camera, they immediately start to misbehave, which is wonderful and delightful and makes them so much fun to deal with. But effectively, they've got this lovely patterning on here to recreate the effect, and they're attached with ball joints, so you can either have them angled backwards, or you can have them up so that she can sort of flutter a load of sandstorms around. Of course, these can also be easily removed, and then your Link could attach them to any form of weapon. They're going to be too heavy, but to recreate that fuse from the game as well. You know, it's an option, it's there. I never said it was practical at all, but I really love how she turned out. I just wish she there's just a couple of little things with opposability. You know, models like this, they work great for play because a child doesn't care when they lay crumpled on the floor, but because I want them to look good on my shelf, it makes things really difficult. But I think I did all right given how they looked at the beginning there as well. Let's move on there, as I want to keep this video fairly brief, to our next victim. Is Marbled Gohma, who you guys have seen before, and as a reminder, instructions are in the link in the description as well. She is a giant lump of rock with a couple of different spikes and horns on the top. We've got the central eye in the middle, which of course is on a jumper stud, so it can be easily removed if you're slashing away at it. Outside of the horns and a couple of different rock textures around, we've got the marbled rock roast legs. These have been done in dark bluish grey with plenty of red sort of brackets and little pips hiding through, allowing you to sort of have that marbled effect going through the legs. They're triple articulated, however, this is mostly just so that they can get into the right position, or although it does also allow a really wonderful feature where you sort of smack your hand down on the top of marbled Gohma and she falls to the floor, making her more accessible for Link. Now there's only one way of defeating her, of course, because you can always roll, with the Gohma at the lower portion of the legs here, and by doing this you will knock off these easily removable sections, which are a pain to reset, but it's still a lot of fun, and you can knock these down, simulating you blowing up the legs like you would do in game. Otherwise it's a very simple one. I'll bring up scaling at the end, but the marbled Gohma is apparently really underscaled compared to all the other bosses, although this is a reasonable size for a figure based off the boss encounter. It's just in all the cutscenes she appears absolutely huge, which is crazy. However, I really like this design, and I think this is a really fun one, and it's just great to finally have all of these together as well. But let's move on to our good old fishy friend Mucktorock, of course. Gotta love this one, and I know many of you are going, well, do the shark form, do the shark form. However, we just have the silly little guy here today, and the silly little guy is made up of one Dreamling's body sat on top of one of these rounded elements here, which was originally introduced for BB-8 in Star Wars, but has since appeared all over the place. It does actually come in lavender, specifically in one Inside Out 2 set that came out last year. I was very excited about this. Now, in the custom set showcase, this was originally designed as a custom piece to more so fit with the octo-head dimension, so it was slightly more elongated. This was part of a wider mold family that we designed to be used with the Deku Scrubs and so on, but that's besides the point. Either way, of course, because it's a piece that I designed, it does not exist in real life, so the decision was made just to use the closest thing, because I couldn't leave him out, and I could do a brick built shark, but obviously ideally I'd be using a real Lego shark in black as well. So there's another compromise to be made. I will eventually do the shark form, but to be honest, right now I'm perfectly happy with the little guy, as this is the version he appears of in that cutscene that we were talking about at the end, and he waves his little arms and he goes blah 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 blah, and of course he has 3 custom decals on him as well, with the 2 eyes and then the little mouth appearing on his head. And I could do some sort of ribs for the body, but I'm really pleased with being able to use the Dreamling's body for him. I think it works really well, and it's great to just have such a small little guy as well. It's delightful fun that I think is really great. We're going to mix things up now that we've done 3 of the main bosses, and we're going to go over to the Demon King Ganondorf. He's going to become super relevant later, but this was a figure that I was really excited to get to put together. I mean, the first thing that you notice, of course, is the sort of red energy effect pieces, which of course we're using here to represent Gloom. These were introduced in Ninjago under the Wolf Blood Moon line. You've seen I used that Blood Moon earlier on as well, and these are fantastic pieces. It's actually going to be coming in black in a Harry Potter set in 2026 as well, so I'm very much looking forward to picking that up off Bricks and Pieces sort of middle of next year and changing out one of these for black just to give Ganondorf some more variety. And then he's got the mech Evo fingers at the end to simulate some more of those tendrils just posing a couple of different directions. One is even attached on the back, which gives him a hand free to hold a sword, which again is one of the Wolf Warrior ones, although I'm not using that currently. And of course I've unfortunately had to use a shorter hair than I wanted just to accommodate the sort of neck bracket, but that's okay. This hair comes from Wildfire from Ninjago as well. The face is obviously Garmadon. There's a couple of different expressions for that one possible. The neck bracket's a generic one. This one came from a Spider-Man figure. The torso, however, is a macaque figure from Monkey Kid. I believe it might be one of his minions or just him himself. Either way, it's got these red wonderful black swirls which represent the damage, or look very similar to the damage that Ganondorf endures at Tears of the Kingdom as well. One of the arms is red and one of the arms is black. I've also looked into getting the diver arm from Series 17, which actually has a strip of red going down it. I think that would be a nice little upgrade for him as well. I'll do that at some point in the future. And then as for the rest of it, the cape piece here is from the recent Buccaneer CMF figure that came out in Series 27 at the beginning of 2024. It's not been put on properly. Instead of the back holes going through the back, it's just been tilted round to make it more of a side piece, and this works absolutely perfectly to match sort of Ganondorf's flowing robe, and I really like it. And the legs, although they're showing up really awkwardly on camera, these are Ninjago movie Kai's legs, so lots of Ninjago in this Ganondorf figure. Lots of kids at shows tell me he is Ganondorf, or tell me he is Garmadon even, just because obviously of the face, which is not great, but it's the best we can do in these trying times, and I don't think we're getting a Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf anytime soon, at least not his human form or his mummy form or anything like that. So looks like I'm stuck with this as far as Demon King goes, although it does make me want to do a demise, that's for sure. But let's get back to the main event, and this of course is Colgera's turn up next, the last of the major 4 before we get into sort of endgame territory, although we've just done Demon King, so what am I about? Anyway, Colgera has been featured many times on the channel before. Colgera is not only available for instructions, but also for this wonderful stand and Rito airship to make a really dynamic display. And as my favourite boss in Tears of the Kingdom, it is probably still my favourite model, although Demon Dragon's giving it a run for the money. Up at the head, we of course have the 5 eyes all done as decals, the wonderful jaws, and then this flows back into the body. We've got the wings here, which are still a little loose as an attachment. I'm still waiting for a better solution for that. I'll get one eventually and update instructions accordingly. But we've got all of these wonderful spike bits on 3 main segments, and then underneath as well, we have the sort of crystalline sort of area with the snowflakes underneath for the sort of cracking like weak points for you to sort of smash through. And of course you can like move these out of the way so that you can easily access this. Unfortunately the tops do not launch off, you know, that was a little bit beyond me. You've got a little tail, and yeah, just 3 of these transparent sections that I usually like to have lit up as well. And it's just so flexible and bendable. I used to demonstrate Colgera around at shows, but got a little bit loose, but bought some new ball joints, and Colgera looks wonderful just in my hands. Obviously not great on shelf because it's like a flat worm with no legs, no wings, no real wings anyway, sorry Colgera. So it looks best on this stand, which is really fun. Just a temporary stand for the group display today, just because that stand is quite bulky and would get in the way as well. But it's also nice to have Colgera in a different position just to show how versatile it is. And then of course back on the head we've got the like fangs which can open in and out, very similar to marbled Gohma and Queen Gibdo. You can of course remove one of these fangs to use as the fusible weapon, which is really cool. Again, that was a feature I was really pleased to include. And we just got the little teeth underneath. I just love the sculpting on the face of this one. Colgera is amazing, and I'm really pleased to have a part of the collection, as you guys know, because you keep showing up in all of the things. Siege Construct was actually one that we featured recently on the channel. I did a whole video on the Siege Construct and Minoru when I bought these guys back last year, which was a lot of fun, and I had a great time showing them off to you. I made a couple of upgrades, most notably here around the waist. This is significantly stronger, although in this entire clip, the head is just going to keep falling off because wonderful. I'm still working on a couple of joints, but overall these things are much more stable. They made it to a convention with no real problems. Obviously I took the limbs off for transport, but generally things worked really well here. Obviously this construct is in its forearm form. I could easily take it off for 2 arms and add the nubbins on, but I've chosen not to for today. We've got this wonderful sticker on this dish here. The Minoru one is even more fantastic. And then of course obviously the forearms that are sort of posed differently, posed crazily. You've got that little bit of flexibility in the neck as well. Legs can pose, but again I've got them stuck down for today, you know, just to pose in with a group shot. But I really love the little layering the details on the head, because you've got these rings around the eyes and these dishes, and then just even a little bit of golden heart piece sticking out at the top. Of course recreating some of those little golden arch details that we see in game as well. But yeah, I love the Siege Construct. I'm still so happy with how these constructs turned out. In particular, Minoru is a fantastic little guy as a build, and I'm just really pleased to have them. It's so surreal looking at the shelf, but it gets more surreal because we have one more to take a look at, and that is of course the final encounter from the game. It is Demon Dragon. Now this is obviously one of my favourite custom sets that we've ever designed, and one day I will do the Light Dragon as well. But for now, we've just got Demon Dragon to take a look at here. I just love this face sculpt so much. I'm so proud of what I was able to accomplish with pieces and these horn elements, which of course were newly recoloured in the summer of this year for the bonsai tree. So good to see, so good to see. I just love the nose down to the mouth. It doesn't have much articulation, but it's got some. And then even up here, we've got the spot where you could remove this here, put a minifigure poser piece in, and then attach his secret stone if you even wanted to as well. There's also a spot at the back of the head to store one for when it's not on his head as well. I just love the shaping. I love the eyes with the stickers on. I love the horns and the way they curve around, and I've been able to angle them. It's actually not too fragile. I've not had really any of these break off. They can be a little fiddly to apply in the first place, but beyond that, they've really been, it's been a dream. This head has held no problems. Even then moving back into the mane, and then just the incredibly long body that we're going to take a look at as well. We've got 2 of these leg segments, one at the here at the front and one at the back, and these guys are really compactly built. You've got of course the claws underneath with the back claws and the front claws. Now these are the bits that keep falling off the model. I very much need a stand for my Demon Dragon, because once again this is a dragon with sort of no real presence when you lay it on the side like a worm, even though this one does have legs, just not very many. Of course you've got this little bit of scale and just a little bit of fluff around here as well to recreate some of those details from in-game. I'm tempted to do a couple of custom stickers in black to represent some scaling patterns as well, but to be honest I'm not really hugely fussed at the moment. Down at the front underneath the mane we also have this ball feature here. This is fantastic because it is sort of recreating sort of Ganon's ability to shoot balls. I still need to refine this feature just a little bit because it's not firing quite as consistently as I like. You can see me struggling here. However, eventually I do get it to launch, and yeah, it would be ideal to have that in red and obviously firing more consistently, but there's just a couple of like things to work out there. But it's really great to have that play feature on this dragon, especially as it is accurate to it, and of course what child's not going to have fun with that as well. As for the 2 middle segments, you can see some Return of the Dream's eyes to represent sort of the pus sections that you're going to be defeating as Link in this encounter. I know they're not the right colour, but it's just such a perfect piece that it just makes all the sense in the world, especially since we used it on the Gloom hands and various other places throughout all the custom sets actually in particular. But yeah, you've got this little cavity here on both segments. You've got 2 identical segments in the body, and actually they both open up as well, so you can remove the top off them just by lifting off the spikes or just by peeling it off. They are a bit flexible at the moment. I need to increase the clutch power. And you have a little cavity where we are storing the Demon King currently, so you can store 2 figures inside both of these compartments, which is absolutely fantastic. I really love that as a feature. Don't know how useful it is, but I think it's really cool, especially as you wouldn't know it's there, and it's nice to retain that. And then at the very back we have another set of legs identical to the first set, and then of course the tail at the very end. Now, a big question for this one will be the weight. Obviously it's heavier than Colgera, and Colgera was using small ball joints, so I did actually go out and buy a big ball joint, and I also bought click hinges. And the answer is that if you're going to hold it by the tail and you expect it to hold up all the segments, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Obviously neither click hinges or big ball joints are strong enough. I have got enough strength that it can hold its head up, which is all I really care about. So it's just a matter of finding a stand that's going to support him and show him off in the best way possible. Because I love this dragon. I think this again is another one like a bit like Queen Gibdo, where it works in fantastically as a play model, but it's left me not disappointed because I have an immense amount of joy seeing them in real life, where I just feel a bit like, what's the point, because like they're not really working on my shelf, you know, like they don't look amazing. They do from certain angles. I was quite happy with the layout that you saw at the beginning, but Demon Dragon's first day was a bit of a disaster. I just didn't know what to do with him. He's like large and unwieldy. Again, perfect for a toy in that regards. Obviously there's a couple of flaws with that, but perfect in some regards, and then just really hurtful to me in others because it didn't quite work out as well as expected. So yeah, we'll look forward to making some adjustments in the future, but it's the face sculpt, right? I think outside of the Ozymandias face, although stay tuned on that, the Demon Dragon is my favourite head sculpt that I've ever been able to create, and I'm just completely in love with how it looks. So yes, that is all 6 bosses from Tears of the Kingdom recreated in Lego form. As I mentioned, instructions are on the way for the others. Again, just be patient with me because it does take time, although they are currently the next in line to be added once I finish transferring everything across to the new site. Of course, Marbled Gohma and Colgera are already up. I love this group shot. This means so much to me to have these together. It's a boss lineup that I really think is strong. It's not new game bias really, I just really like the bosses in this game, and they all were such integral parts of their sets that it really feels cool to see those designs come to life and then work in real life as well. Even stuff like Demon Dragon, where I faced some disappointment just on a level, but I also think it might just be a little bit burnout as well. So maybe it's on me. I'm still ecstatic to have it and its face. I just love that sculpt. I mean, this is when you guys tell me it's stupid in the comments, but I really like him and I think he's neat. I did promise to talk a bit about scaling as well. I think it's worth noting that most of these guys are in a sensible scale to each other. By that I mean everyone excluding the Marbled Gohma, which apparently according to these images is just massive, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not how it felt in the actual fight, but oh well. Apparently Marbled Gohma is significantly undersized compared to the others. I don't know, sue me, I quite like Marbled Gohma at this size. I think it suits the lineup quite well, and I suppose technically Demon Dragon should be even bigger as well, but again, considering how it looks next to the Hyrule Castle, I'm pretty happy with this as a scale. This feels about right to me. I can't get over that face, it's so good. Anyway, let me know your favourite boss from Tears of the Kingdom. Let me know which one of these is your favourite of the recreations, as well as thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed this quick look into seeing the full lineup. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.